Herbert is one of those Family Guy characters who never shows up without leaving you a little confused and a little concerned. And somehow, that mix turns into some of the funniest and strangest scenes in the show. So today, we are diving into Herbert's wildest moments in Family Guy. Let's start the show. Chris is only trying to earn some extra money, but his new paper route leads him to a man who becomes way too interested way too quickly. This first meeting sets the tone for every strange moment that follows. Chris picks up a paper route to help the family and rides through the neighborhood tossing newspapers with confidence. Everything feels calm until he reaches one house where Herbert steps out slowly and greets him like he has been waiting all day. His voice is soft, but immediately unsettling.
Got a nice tip for you right here in my pocket for my arthritis. Why don't you reach in there and fish it out for yourself?
He backs away and escapes on his bike. The next day, Herbert spots Chris and notices he looks bothered. He asks why he is upset, and Chris brings up a girl problem. Herbert barely reacts to the girl part and quickly moves back into his own agenda. He brings up popsicles and invites Chris to the cellar. Chris rejects the offer and tries to leave politely.
Don't make me beg now.
You're funny. Bye.
Get your fat ass back here.
Later in the episode, the Griffins return home and Lois checks the answering machine. They discover Herbert left over 100 messages. In the recordings, Herbert sounds worried at first, wondering why Chris has not delivered the paper. Then he becomes irritated and even starts insulting Chris when he gets desperate.
Sorry to leave you so many messages. Just lonely here, thinking about the muscly on paper boy.
Herbert talks like he has been waiting by the door for days. It becomes clear he has been thinking about Chris non-stop. This final beat shows just how attached he became after only 2 short encounters.
Oh, you're starting to piss me off, you little piglet son of a. Call me.
In Season 6, Episode 10, the family needs someone to watch the kids, and every normal option disappears fast. When Herbert steps into the role, things turn uncomfortable in seconds, and Chris becomes his main focus. Peter, Lois, and Brian plan a trip and need a babysitter for the night. They go through their usual contacts, but everyone is busy. With no other choice, Peter suggests Herbert. He says Herbert seems responsible, and the rest of the family hesitates, but they accept because there is no one else left.
I mean, you've spent time watching children, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have.
Wonderful. You mind stopping by tomorrow morning?
Herbert arrives at the house acting polite and eager to help. He tells the kids the rules with a calm tone, but the words are worrying. He warns them not to mouth off or he will slap them right in their pants. Meg responds by saying she does not need a babysitter, which Herbert ignores completely.
Well, no offense to you, Meg, but you're a 17-year-old girl and I don't need you here.
Then he asks what day it is and announces it is bath day. Chris panics, thinking he has to take a bath, but Herbert clarifies the bath is for him and he needs someone with strong hands to help him get in and out of the tub.
Know anybody with a pair of strong young hands to help me in and out of the tub? Oh, rats!
Later that night, Herbert decides to tell Chris a bedtime story. His voice is soft as he reads about danger turning into fun, which makes Chris suspicious. Then he asks something uncomfortable.
Are you a pet?
In Season 11, Episode 12, Chris visits Herbert for something simple on Valentine's Day. But nothing stays simple in Herbert world. A new character enters the picture, and Herbert sees an opportunity to get closer to Chris in a way only he would attempt. Chris stops by Herbert house to collect his paper route money. Instead of Herbert answering the door, a girl appears. She introduces herself as Sandy, Herbert's grandniece. Chris is surprised, but stays polite. Sandy instantly develops a crush, and Herbert notices it right away.
Oh, hang on now, Chris. Your fly's up again.
Thanks, Mr. Herbert.
Sandy admits she wants to talk to Chris, but does not know what to say. Herbert sees this as the perfect chance to involve himself. If he cannot win Chris' heart, maybe his relative can.
Oh, I know all the things to say. Maybe I can help you out.
You do that for me?
Sure.
Later that night, Sandy goes to Chris' window to confess her feelings. But the words are clearly Herbert speaking through her. She starts talking like a lonely old man, and Chris listens with confusion. Herbert uses her voice to tell Chris he wants to spend more time with him.
And ever since I got banned from the arcade, I don't know what I'm doing. But if you're up for it, I'd like to spend some time with you.
The plan works because Chris agrees to hang out. Herbert celebrates but asks for one thing. He wants Chris to ride bumper cars with Sandy. They go to the bumper cars and share a normal moment for once. As they leave, Herbert asks if Sandy can have a sandwich with a special request. He wants Chris to fart on it. It is not evil, but it is deeply strange. The request lingers and becomes all you can think about after hearing it. In Season 4, Episode 16, a simple mistake by Chris turns into a full job under Herbert's supervision, and every task becomes another chance for Herbert to push the limits of what he can get away with. Chris hits a baseball that flies off course and crashes through Herbert's window. Herbert appears at the Griffin door, holding the broken glass, and explains what happened. Lois plans to take the repair cost from Chris' allowance, but Herbert suggests another idea. He wants Chris to work off the debt through chores.
And at the end of the day, if you're exhausted and your face is dripping wet, well, that just means you did a good job.
That sounds fun.
Chris reluctantly agrees, and Herbert wastes no time putting him to work. The first job is leaf raking. Chris tries to focus, but Herbert watches every movement. He tells Chris that if he gets sweaty and wants to take his shirt off, he can do that. When the chores end, Herbert decides to reward Chris with dinner at the club. Chris accepts because it seems normal. At the dinner, they take a photo together. Herbert stares at it like it is the start of something special. That night, Herbert drifts into a fantasy. He imagines a future life with Chris where they are married and raising 2 children. The dream is calm and surreal. In Herbert's mind, it feels real, even though the idea is obviously disturbing. The scene shows how far his imagination goes.
Are you dead?
Season 9, Episode 11, Chris thinks he found a harmless new hobby and a new friend, but Herbert sees something darker. When no one believes him, the situation turns into one of Herbert's strangest heroic moments. Chris wants a new hobby, so Peter takes him around town looking for ideas. On the way, they run into Herbert. Peter brushes him off and tells Chris not to waste time with the elderly. Herbert whispers that he just wants to sniff Chris' hat, which instantly sets the tone.
Please, God, let me just sniff his hat. Let me just sniff his hat. That's all I want.
Chris eventually discovers wooden puppets and meets an old man named Fran Guten. Fran has a thick accent and seems harmless. He tells Chris they could become good friends. Chris likes the attention and decides to spend time at his workshop learning puppetry.
Thanks for showing me how to do it and being so nice to me, Mr. Gutentag.
Call me Franz.
Okay, Franz.
Herbert sees Fran with Chris and becomes alarmed. He goes straight to the Griffin house and tells Lois that Fran is not who he says he is. Herbert reveals he met him during World War II and Fran was a prison guard. Lois and Peter do not believe him at all. They think Herbert is jealous.
That's a very serious accusation. How do you know this man was a Nazi prison guard?
'Cause I was there.
Herbert tries again by warning Chris directly. He calls Fran a dangerous man and tells Chris his real name. Chris dismisses him and says Herbert only wants free labor. Herbert begs Chris to choose between him and Fran, which only pushes Chris further away.
I'm trying to help you.
Help me what? Clean your pool with my shirt off? Or wash your car in jean shorts?
Later, Peter visits Fran Guten to thank him for being kind to Chris. While Chris goes to the bathroom, he discovers a hidden room filled with Nazi memorabilia. The truth hits instantly. Chris panics, but Fran locks both him and Peter in the basement before they can escape.
You're not gonna get away with this, Mr. Google Search.
Oh, but I think that I will. You two know my secret.
Herbert happens to walk by the house and sees them through the window. Instead of celebrating, he decides to help. He puts on his old pilot gear and prepares for a slow but determined fight. He walks into the house, ready to face Fran Guten one last time.
Well, I remember you, Lieutenant Schlecknacht.
The fight is clumsy and slow as both men slap and stumble around each other. They move from room to room while forgetting what they are doing at times. Eventually, they end up outside and Fran steps on a small drop in the pavement. The tiny fall finishes him.
Say good night, you Nazi bat. It's time to give you a proper German funeral.
With Fran gone, Herbert frees Chris and Peter from the basement. Chris finally admits he should have listened. He calls Herbert his real friend, even though it is more a case of choosing the lesser threat. Herbert enjoys the moment, but does not push further.